Welcome back, nerds and turds, to another live stream repair. We've got 3 that we're going to try to crank through here on this lovely Friday. Let's get ourselves a drink and find out what's going on with the first one and get started. Woo! Okay, who's first? We've got to let the Discord nerds know that we're streaming. Let's do that really quick. Alright, and then let's find out whose is this. This is Tom. Alright, let's find Tom's email. Here they are. Yep. I have an original HomePod that does the loud popping, clicking, death farts, DC offset. From what I can tell without disassembly, so I want to send it in to you for repair. So I asked them, I shot them a video link, I just wanted to make sure I understood what symptoms they had. And they let me know that they currently just have loud popping. They don't have any death farts yet. So I'm guessing their DC offset is starting to get worse, but it's probably not quite obviously to the threshold that would cause death farts yet. So let's let them know that we are getting started on it now. All right. And then let's get their name up on the screen. There we go. What's in the box? Alright, issue popping and crackling eventually goes silent. Nice, power cable already removed. That makes it nice and easy. So, let's do a symptoms check. Get this plugged into power. See how loud of a pop we're dealing with here. Title idea, triple header. No, geez, I hope her head's not in the box. Geez, please, no. No. Oh.
I'm happy.
Okay. Alright, I'd rate that probably like a 5 or 6 out of 10 on the popness scale. So, not the worst we've heard. Not the best we've heard, obviously. Excuse me. But seems to consistently pop at least that loud, so it does appear that our filter caps are starting to go bad. Not yet to the point to cause death farts. But let's get this taken apart. Get it connected to our multimeter and see how bad things actually are. And I need this. I should be able to slide that right under. Yeah. Give me a sec, let me split these apart. GameWorks. Ooh. Don't want that, that's got my name on it. GameWorks though. Sweet. Let's see if we can make this work the way that we want. We tried it last time. Worked pretty well. This time I seem to be fumbling it. Yeah, that's That baby should be asleep.
I know she's hungry.
Of course she's hungry. She ate like 20 minutes ago. Hello, Mike. Welcome to the stream again. Is it hard to source your replacement parts? It is, because the only place that I can get replacement parts as far as subwoofers, displays, or like other assemblies or parts for the HomePod, those obviously I can only get from other broken HomePods that I buy online. As far as the board level repairs that we do, getting those components, for the most part, are really easy. The filter caps for DC offset, death farts and such, you can get various different part numbers that'll do the job for that. The same with the Schottky barrier diode for the no power repair. Those are really easy to get a hold of. And then for the amp chip, if you by some rare chance come across a blown amp chip, then those can be replaced with the original part off AliExpress, which does take a few weeks for shipping, but there is also the alternative part numbers that you can get from DigiKey and Mouser. All that info is up on my website under the common issues section. Depending on what issue you have, if there's a specific board level repair that you need to do with a specific part, like a diode or a capacitor, I've got all the part numbers up there. Or specs, so that way you can find another part that matches the same specs if you can't find the same exact part number in stock. Nope. They got a little knot on the end of the drawstring here that's keeping these from coming through. They got a knot on the end of both drawstrings. Wow. Okay. Alright, let's that's plenty of length. So I don't know why they would I don't know why they tied those extra bits on the end there. dedicated HomePod subwoofer. You'll have to expand on that. Pull the tweeter section out, but add dual subs. Huh. It would just be like a little bass cannon then, like a little bazooka, an airplay bazooka. And if you wanted Siri on it, all it would be like. So then it pretty much just makes it an airplay subwoofer, which isn't a bad idea, but I think Sonos has one of those. Otherwise, you could just snag an Airport Express Gen 2, plug that into the back of any normal floor-powered active subwoofer. Bada bing, bada boom. Airplay it with your HomePods. But I think I'm misunderstanding then. You must be thinking of something else. As part of a trio. Okay, so like 7 HomePod minis for the tweets. 7 OG HomePods for the highs and more highs and mids. And then 7 HomePods with nothing but dual bass speakers for low. Even then, I still only think they'd be able to hit like maybe 40 hertz. Yep, I figured that would happen. That one really wanted to put up a fight. Alright, well, well, the first one's already putting up a fight. Second one too. Third one came out. Fourth one's also putting up a fight. Okay. You just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, side to side. I don't think this has got the guts to get that still, though. Oh, proved me wrong. Yeah. Final screw. And we're in. Ooh. Okay. Before we just start willy-nilly swapping stuff around, let's get this powered on with a multimeter on the audio output of this amplifier, specifically for the subwoofer, which is where the source of the popping sound comes from. When the filter caps on the amp go bad and allow too much DC voltage through. So we replace the filters whenever we see on the multimeter over there anything more than 50 millivolts, which is a pretty aggressive target. The amp itself can tolerate upwards of 18 millivolts at the input, which at the output, or what we'll see at the meter, upwards of 180 to 200 millivolts. So whenever we see more than 50 millivolts, it is a pretty aggressive target, but we like to replace those caps when we see it above that threshold more often than not. So let's see what this one's at. Considering the volume of the pop that we heard, it's not always a guarantee, telltale way of guessing how bad of a DC offset you might have. If you do have any, you might have totally normal amount of popping. But if it is pretty loud, like kind of like the one that we heard here, then I would expect to see at least a couple hundred millivolts of offset, if not more. If you've got death farts, then you should easily have upwards of at least 1 volt after at least a minute or so of it warming up, and then it should fart around like 3 to 6 volts DC. So, and here we've got 300 millivolts of offset, and it's growing pretty quickly. So as it warms up to operating temperature, those caps are going to only get worse at doing their job, filtering the DC voltage that we do not want to be seeing on that meter there, which is connected to our subwoofer. So DC voltage bad for speaker. A little bit of DC voltage is okay as a snack, but more than 50 millivolts in the audio, general audio industry, that's a pop. You Google DC offset, people generally agree on no more than 50 millivolts being a tolerable number. But according to the spec sheet, let's jump into the repair. According to the spec sheet for the amp chip that's used for the bass speaker, like we were saying earlier, it's rated for no more than 18 millivolts at the input, which is up to 200 millivolts at the output. And we're seeing more than 300 there on the meter. So that's well above what the amp is currently rated for. So it needs new filter caps, which are back here right next to our bass amp chip. These 4 guys. Let's get focused. And we're going to get those replaced with some brand new ones. If you're curious how to do this repair yourself, or what parts we use, or what tools we use, I've got all that info up on my website at nixfix.com. You're excused. Go to the common issues section, and you can find the DC offset, death farts popping, blah 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 issue. It's got the steps on how we do this here, and the part number of the caps that we use. And then further down in the FAQ section, we've got all of our tools listed with links. I think mostly to Amazon and where we get those. So, good thing about using a dedicated, especially an Airport Extreme for something like a subwoofer, it being 100% within less than a millisecond in sync with your mids and highs isn't going to be as critical or as noticeable even as, say, your mids or highs being out of sync with each other. So having your subwoofer frequencies a little bit out of sync, it's a little more forgiving. That aside, when I use my Airport Expresses with hi-fis alongside my HomePods, my Sonos lamp speaker, and my Yamaha AV home theater receiver that's got AirPlay 2 support built in. All of that seems to stay in sync pretty well, all across the frequencies. So if you did have any syncing issues, if it was a matter of if it was within enough time, I imagine the lower end frequencies would be more forgiving for that. At least that's maybe I'm totally wrong. I'm totally open to being wrong. Especially with your experience. I would really like to hear your thoughts on that. So we've got some new stuff, some new low melt solder. It still melts at 186 degrees Celsius, but it's on a spool now instead of a syringe. So we no longer have to do the janky squirt onto our Corona cap. We can just stick the stick right onto our stick and stick it onto the board, and we're good to go. What's your best guess the value of a broken HomePod on eBay with blinking volume buttons? So eBay prices, Sorry, I have to turn the ventilator up so the microphone might pick that up. I apologize. Hopefully you can still hear me just fine. I'm just going to turn that back down. Anyways, so on eBay, prices for everything are going to typically be a little more than what they are really worth, because sellers want to try to recuperate as much of those fees from shipping and seller fees back. So you're generally going to see, like a 5 to 20, at least a 5 to 25% markup on anything you see on eBay. So like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Craigslist, those places you'll obviously, if you can, find these things for less. But anyways, to answer your question, the value of a blinking HomePod's volume buttons, probably around 60 to 120 depending on condition, if it came with the box. Pretty much, yeah, I would pretty much say between 60 to 120. A lot of eBay sellers tend to ask around between 100 to 150, but realistically I wouldn't pay more than 60 to 100 for one, and 100's kind of pushing it, really, especially with the second gen out. I mean, don't get me wrong, the HomePod is still phenomenal, and I don't think there's anything out there that beats it, even for the price. But I mean, we're talking a HomePod that you can only use for parts, because as there's still no known way to fix one with blinking volume buttons. So anything more than $100 to $100 really, when you can get used working ones still for anywhere from $100 to $150 if you're patient. It's a bit much to ask, in my opinion. On the flip side of that, you also got to understand, originally these things were $300 to $350. So, but you can't always use that to completely justify asking so much for something, be it used or broken. Yeah, get him. Spicy. Ooh, those are solid. Nice. Okay. What have we got for our power diode here? It has a date code of 1742K. So outside of the range that normally fails, but we're going to give it a new one just for good measure. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. If and especially like for people like you and me, who can sit down and do a side-by-side comparison of the two. I think more people are going to prefer the first generation sound over the second generation sound. But that said, I do think that the second gen does achieve a good enough I'm not going to go out and replace all of my first gens with second gens, that's for sure. But for somebody who's never had a first gen, and wants to get their hands on at least like a taste of the big HomePod sound quality and like the experience of setting up a few in a room and getting some good spatial audio experience out of it. The second gens I'm actually more comfortable recommending somebody buying, especially less technical people. I would recommend buying the second gens over the first gens because those are going to obviously have better support moving forward between the modern hardware in them and then the software that can run on them and then the support that you'll get with all of that being newer through Apple. So that's what I told my mom too. I sent her home with a first gen that I dyed navy blue, just so she can get an idea of whether she likes the sound or not, and whether the idea of an AirPlay speaker for all of her audio is even worth her time or not. And then if she's convinced with the one, then she'll take the dive, and most likely I told her I would recommend getting the second gens to fill her room up with more, so that way she doesn't have to deal with a bunch of first gens. And they're getting old. I'm happy to support them, but I'm not going to recommend to my mom to go and get a bunch of first gens. She's not going to be I don't think she would be as particular about it. Like she does appreciate good sound quality, but she's not going to, especially if she's only got the one OG. I don't want her to go and spend a whole bunch of money on a bunch of first gens, and then have to send them to me to get them fixed. I wouldn't charge her to fix them. She's mom, but it's just I would rather her just have a simpler, easier experience the first time through, and then if she wants to go buck wild and fill her house up with dozens of them, then I'll help her out with maybe sourcing some first gens to fill that up a little bit. But she is someone who would be perfectly happy with a bunch of second gens. There we go. That was my knuckle. We're alright. Nice. Let's see if this thing is ready to go. Okay. Cool. It still powers up. Very nice. I hear the new HomePods have a punchier bass. I would 100% agree with that. That was one of my first reactions when we did our teardown of the second gen HomePod live. I felt that the bass was definitely clearer and punchier, like more controlled. But it didn't seem like it had as much didn't seem like it had as much like raw power behind it, even though it felt more controlled, which is interesting considering what we saw underneath the hood. What appeared to be a significantly beefier amplifier. Our offset is looking magnificent at less than 1 millivolt, so let's get this put back together. But yes, I would 100% agree. The second gen HomePod definitely sounds all around like it's got a more controlled, a more direct sound, but it feels slightly less powerful for some reason. I just like my first gens more. Maybe I'm biased. That I don't know. Oh. Let me mute. Where's my phone? She only called me for a second and then she hung up on me. Huh. Are all of your cameras old iPhones? No, actually, this is the only camera that's an old iPhone. This camera for the multimeters and tools and such is a Samsung Galaxy Note 8. And our overhead camera up here, yeah, you're correct. It's not an iPhone as well. It's got the optical zoom. It's the Sony ZV E10, something E10. I chose the one with the removable lens because I figured I would appreciate being able to put a different lens on this and use it for more than just this in the near future. Especially if I'm going to be spending that much on a camera, I want to be able to do some other things with it. And I'm pretty happy with it so far. It's my first camera that's not a phone. So I'm pretty happy. That said, I've been pretty happy with my iPhone cameras from the 6 all the way up to the 11. The 12 I didn't feel as nice about. The 13 I feel even less about. The 14 I feel even less about. And then I got a Google Pixel 7, and that thing... Oh, I reach for my Pixel 7 for the camera now before I reach for my iPhone every time. Haven't done that since I had a Samsung Galaxy S6 and an iPhone 6. And that's when I went from the camera, from the Samsung to the iPhone, because I got a Samsung Galaxy S8 to replace the S6. And absolutely hated the camera on that thing, but still really liked the camera on my iPhone 6, so I used that for a while. Got the Note 8, still hated the camera on that. Got an iPhone 11, that camera was alright. But okay, so, speaking of HomePods, I was recently talking to Apple support again because I was having issues when I would be connected to all of my HomePods at the same time. Oh shoot. Whenever I would connect to like more than 10 or 12 of them, my Wi-Fi network utilization would like start to max out at like 80-85%, and everything would just totally crap out. But the new Wi-Fi router that I got from TP-Link was the first one out of all the gear that I've had that really showed me this in a way that was clear enough for me to go, oh, as I connect and play to the HomePods, the network is actually dying because all of the HomePods are just absolutely overloading all of these access points. So even with like a TP-Link 660 HD or a Ubiquiti U6 Pro or a Grandstream 7664 or any of that, it seems to be that the limit's about 10 to 15 HomePods per like access point before you need another one to start splitting things up, or your network utilization easily goes from 30 to 50% up to 50 to 80%. And that's no good. And keep in mind, the TP-Link 660 HD that I'm currently using is rated for 2400 megabytes a second, or megabits per second data throughput. And we're not anywhere near that, even if we're airplaying to all the HomePods at the same time. But that said, it's not just raw throughput or number of clients that you have connected to your access point that matters. There's a lot of factors that go into Wi-Fi performance. So seems to be 10 to 15 HomePods on an access point. At least any one that we've tried. Are you comparing the video outputs or the photos between the two brands? You know what? Actually, Seth, that is a very good point. So I was actually primarily talking about photos. Video is actually, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it's an entirely different story. I've been generally happier with whatever newer generation phone I've gotten, and its video camera performance over any previous generation phone that I've had. That just continues to repeat every time I upgrade a phone, be it a newer iPhone than the last Android phone that I had, or a newer Android phone than the last iPhone that I had. Yep. And again, I would agree with Mike in the chat there. Like I said earlier, anytime I want to take a photo, I've been reaching for my Pixel 7 Pro. But anytime I've been wanting to record a video, I've been reaching for my iPhone 12. My wife has a 14 Pro. And again, the video on it looks phenomenal, better than my 12. But the camera, the photos, and when I say camera, I usually mean photos. So I apologize. But the photo comparison between her 14 and my 12, just like the 11, I just seem to prefer the older generation every time. If not the Android. The Droid. Anybody else remember the original Motorola Droid commercials? No, get back in there. Nice. Still can't take photos of the moon with an iPhone. Oh man, this one's just not tightening up, huh? There we go. Everything's going wrong. Everything is happening.
Look how absolutely giant this thing is. I'm gonna show the camera. Be careful.
Yeah.
It's got some dust. Don't eat it. No, ew. Nick, it's a bath bomb.
Ooh, it's salty.
Yeah, I bet.
It's like Play-Doh.
It's got baking soda. Which one do you think we got?
I think there's a 20% chance we got...
So there's 6 options.
Oh shit, it's 6. What's 100 divided by... Hey Siri, what's 100 divided by 6?
She said...
She said do it yourself, bitch.
What's 100 divided by 6? Stop.
Oh wait, I have them all unplugged in here. Oh, your watch is still thinking about it?
Working on that.
The answer is approximately 16.6666.
So I'll give it a 16.666 approximately % chance that it was... What were the options?
So there's the blue flower, like the frosty one.
Okay, so a 16% chance for that one.
Thank you. There's the red one,
16% chance for that one.
like the red flower. There's
Yeah.
a blue mushroom
Okay, 16% chance for that one.
and a red mushroom.
16% chance for that one.
And then there's a coin. And then there's a
No, wait.
star.
60% chance for the coin.
60% chance. I'd rather get the
And
coin
for
than
the
the red
star.
mushroom. The red mushroom doesn't have the most exciting scent. They all have pretty exciting scents except for the red mushroom, so I bet the red mushroom's the one that they put in most of them. It said that the star was rare, so they've got to put the percentages off somehow, right? But what do they mean by rare?
They mean buy them until you get it.
Shit. I mean, like it's soap, so it would be the worst.
No.
God, they're just so huge. Like, you gotta use this whole thing in one bag.
No, you could like...
Split it open and ruin the surprise?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be ruining the surprise. You'd still be getting surprised.
Well, yeah, but like part of the surprise is you dunk it in the water and it dissolves, and then there's other fizzy stuff in there that's the color of the soap that alerts you to what color what soap you're getting.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like a jawbreaker. I guess you get a few of them and you just enjoy them in different ways.
I mean, we can always split it in half. But I don't want to spend $18 on another.
Jeez.
Well, it's 2-in-1. It comes with a soap, and a soap from Lush that size costs about $10. So $10 for the soap, $8 for the bath bomb.
Yeah.
It's about average.
Yeah.
You're getting a larger than average bath bomb. So.
You're getting a licensed.
Yeah, a licensed.
Okay,
Mario.
not just a licensed product, but a licensed Nintendo product at that. Like
Yeah.
Nintendo is an absolute stickler when it comes to licensing.
Oh, I'm keeping that Princess Peach container for that shower jelly.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I wish I liked the scent because I would buy the body spray, but it's a good soap scent, but it's not a good body spray scent, you know? Does that make sense? Is this your last one?
Yeah.
Are you over there?
I only got one done.
Oh,
That's okay.
I thought you...
Nope. This one took way longer than I thought. No, that's
Was it
okay.
my fault?
No.
Oh.
Is it your fault?
Well, I
No.
didn't know if I came in here for...
No. I only planned on this one. I thought I was gonna get all 3 done, but it took an hour to get this one done, so.
It'd be that way sometimes. Diaper time. She's taking 3 shits.
What do we got?
Those baby poops.
Did she poop
3 times.
today?
In the-
Since she got up?
Yeah.
She's pooped 3 times since I started streaming. 3 times in the past hour. You've changed her.
I'm about to change her again.
So
She just pooped. Like that's her 3rd time. Yeah, I need a drink too. You want to pop that Prosecco tonight?
sure.
I'd rather drink at night than in the day.
Yeah.
I feel shitty during the day.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
No
Nice.
popping and no flash photography. We got
I'm
some
having
volume.
trouble.
Of course, we've got volume buttons to fix. This thing's taken us an hour to fix. It wants us. It wants every minute of our
I'm having
time
trouble
it can
connecting
get.
to the
Don't raise
internet.
your voice
For more
at
info.
me.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For m- I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
Now what?
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
I wonder if it's this
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
bit of rogue string there that was covering up some of our volume buttons. I wonder if I slow him down. Well, the live streams are like pretty much the only time that I've got to catch up with you, really.
I'm having trouble connecting to the
You
internet.
silence.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app. I'm having trouble.
Alright, that looks a lot better. So, this is all that we're going to get to today. We've got 2 more that we'll get to either tomorrow or Sunday, more likely tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. If you're looking for more resources on doing your own HomePod repairs, or getting it sent in to be repaired by me here on the channel for you, check out the website, nixfix.com. In any case, hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.